Doing all right. Doing all right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Court Addict with ATX Alli. We just come over from American Courts Live. Thank you guys so much over there. ATX made it over here. Thank you for making it over here.
Yeah, thank you everybody for coming over. I appreciate it. How's everybody doing tonight? We had a day off last night and now we're doing Sunday, so it should be pretty great.
Yep, I almost called out again tonight, but there's almost a guilt whenever you have to cancel one. There's almost a guilt because in reality it's like you're hanging out with your friends, and there's almost
Right.
something to it. And so whenever you can't do it, it's almost oh no, that's no good. Oh, Jennifer
I
is
know it.
saying there's an AC raid.
Yay.
American Courts is raiding us.
Oh, that's great. I like that guy over there at American Courts. He's all right. He looks kind of scary, but I like him. He's a good guy.
I've heard that. My kids say that. My 16-year-old daughter, we had that new kitten, so she had to get her a litter box last night, and I was just simply asking questions. And you could see both my wife and her just kind of stop and just try to give me the answers I want to hear.
Right.
And I'm like, come on, I'm begging you guys for more information. I don't know anything about cats, and I ask you questions, and you're trying to tell me what I want to hear.
Right.
And so
Too funny.
of course they got the one that was way too expensive, but it's cute for them, so that's all that matters.
Muse, finally you showed up on time. I'm so happy. Yeah, we had a little bit of a late start today because we were over on American Courts finishing up a case. So, but usually we start around 9 o'clock Eastern time. So
Yeah.
now you know the time and place. So when you can show up, I actually sent you a DM on Discord too, Muse. So check that out too when you.
Oh man, that's special. I don't ever get those. So
Yeah, you don't ever get DMs from me.
yeah. No.
Never.
Well, we got two interesting ones tonight. They're not the longest ones, but they are very interesting and a lot to talk about.
Cool.
We're actually going to start with my favorite judge, the one I was going to put on American Courts, but I felt it belonged here, and so
Okay.
we're going to jump over to Clayton County Judge Hayward.
Oh, sounds good. I like Judge Hayward.
Raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony given in this matter will be true. Just now. All right, you can put your hand down. So, Ms. Perez, you're before the court on State of Georgia versus Adriana Perez, 2024 CR 01990, 2021 CR 08119, and 2024 CR 01991. You're represented by Attorney Taz Taylor, who's with you at the podium. You're before the court because you entered a plea for DUI, alcohol less safe, no license, driving under the influence of alcohol, second charge, escape, hit and run accident on the 7th day of May 2024, and you were sentenced to 30 months on probation. You have 26 months and 10 days remaining on this probation. You failed to avoid injurious and vicious habits. You've tested positive on September 19th for the metabolites of alcohol. You failed to attend NA or AA meetings per week, twice per week as directed. You documented one attendance on August 21st of 2024. You failed to comply with counseling. You've documented no classes for the ASAM Level 1 substance abuse treatment program. You failed to document proof of completing a MAD victim impact panel. You failed to complete risk reduction. You failed to complete community service. You have not documented any hours, and you failed to pay your $1,790 in arrears. All right, Mr.
Yes.
Taylor?
Your Honor, my client will stipulate to the violations of probation, and we wish to accept the state's, or rather probation officer Chang's, recommended sentence. I want to inform Ms. Chang that my client has indicated she's completed 32 hours of community service. She has not provided that documentation to Officer Chang at this time. However, she does have it in her possessions back in the jail.
I really feel like Ms. Perez is not taking her situation seriously. We had a long conversation, and I understand the origins of a lot of what is going on. But even though I understand, it doesn't mean that she's not responsible for her behavior. And so I don't think in all this time, May to now is October, Ms. Perez has done very little. And she's been drinking. The drinking I expected because she's an alcoholic. But
How'd you like that one?
She hasn't done anything on probation, has she?
No, but how do you like the way the judge said the drinking I expected because she's an alcoholic?
Yeah, that's pretty good. Goodness gracious. Like she literally had, and by the way, this attorney is by far one of the most monotone, boring people to listen to. Like he has one tone, one rhythm, and that's it. It's actually kind of soothing. But every time he talks, it's just one rhythm, one tone.
I'm gonna do something
Very-
stupid. I'm gonna try to move the scroll and see if I can. Yeah, I get what you're saying about the lawyer. Well, one thing I noticed about the girl there, she just there's a depression. There's just a funk over. I don't know if she's trying to get off some stuff or what, but she has almost just a like she's just giving up look.
Yeah.
And
Well, I think she knows when you hear it all listed out of all the things you didn't do, it doesn't make you feel real good, and you know that you're going to be looking at jail. Like it's not a good look. So I imagine she is depressed because she knows the reality of her situation is probably crashing in on her. So we'll see.
yeah, but she had a fun time while it lasted.
Yeah, it's always fun until it's not.
Yep, absolutely. But yeah, I haven't caught it on this lawyer, but I'll look for it on there. I just like the judge. Living
And I expected that, but I didn't expect the drugs.
Yeah. Let's see where she goes from there.
The fact that she's done nothing else to further the case that that we've talked about. She's done no other things, particularly the easiest thing, the freest thing, which is the AA and NA meetings. That's free and easy. Just find a meeting. They're everywhere. But Ms. Perez is still in the mindset that she doesn't have a problem. Ms. Perez, you're an alcoholic. I mean, it's not something to be ashamed of. It's a condition that needs to be treated. But you're going to try and brazen it out like you don't have an alcohol problem, but you do. And the longer you go with this attitude of, I don't have a problem, the more people you're going to hurt. Don't you have a child?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm. Can your child afford to have you away from him for months at a time?
No child
But that's what's going to happen because you're not making the effort to.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and give it up. It's an 11-year-old kid as well. And but no, and that's the one thing that gets to me. I know my kids at 8, 9, and 10. They knew my mood better than I did.
Right.
And like the way she's looking right there. Imagine being, a mom is everything to a kid. Now imagine the kid having to see mom in that condition. Now, before the court, she was on all kinds of, drugs and drinking and everything else. But I think the kids see that too. I think the kids see that struggle as well.
Yeah. And then they see it and they don't know what to do with it because they're too young to process it. And then it ends up biting them in the ass later on in life. Like it did to me. Like I was not necessarily raised in an environment where addiction was talked down about. It was actually the cool thing to do when I was growing up. Like it was always cool and hip to be high and do this and that. And I hated drugs growing up. Absolutely hated every single one of them. I was so anti-drug. And it's super funny or ironic, not funny, that I turned into a heroin addict by the age of 32. So I don't know. Yeah, and so they don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to process it. They don't know what it means.
Isn't 32 kind of old to be picking up habits like that?
Yeah, exactly, right? Like I shouldn't have that's way too old to just become a heroin addict. So
hey, you got to leave heroin to the kids.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's a young person's game, but they don't stay young for too long, or else they'll stay young forever.
No, absolutely. In our reality, your heart is, it's on a decline. In other words, once you get past the prime of your life, there I go with the doctor stuff again. Your heart, 30-something-year-old heart ain't as good as a dang 18-year-old heart.
Exactly. Yeah,
And so,
definitely. That's why the other day when we watched that older lady who was like in her 60s huffing canned air, it's like your body is not built to withstand that anymore. You may have been able to get away with that when you were in your 20s, but at your age, you're lucky that you withstood just huffing at one time, let alone making it a habit. So,
yeah, absolutely. Well, like what I told Victoria the one day, once you hit about 35, it's all downhill from there.
mm-hmm.
I'm picking on her because she's just a young and she's just a little baby.
Yeah, I mean, I was great in my 20s. It was when I hit my 30s that it was all downhill, and now I'm in my 40s and rebuilding. So my 40s are going to be great. Damn it, that's just going to happen. My 40s are going to be awesome.
Absolutely. Hey, thank you, David. Thank you, David.
Thank you, David. Yay!
Thank you.
And Bodie just joined us too. Welcome, Bodie.
Hey, Bodie. I saw you getting on that lawyer. You like that show. Every time I tend to catch that show, she's chiming in on there.
Yeah.
And that's a big show. The chat is amazingly fast on that show.
Yeah, I can't keep up with chat that fast, so I don't ever go into chats that are.
Yeah, I rarely do. It's just whenever I recognize the name, whenever I recognize somebody's comment. And so, in other words, whenever he answers Bodie's question, I kind of start to look at it to see. And, I kind of want to make sure it's our Bodie.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's see what the judge is going to throw down the hammer or not on her.
All right.
Get clear. AA and NA work. People use it and it works. The treatment level ASAM classes work. You haven't taken advantage of those. Even if you told me, well, I don't have the money, you still haven't gone to AA or NA. And you're drinking. And I told you that those same people who kept bailing you out would be the same people who are going to continue to help you in your downward spiral. Because those are the same people who are going to say, oh, it's not going to matter. You can take a drink. You just don't have to drive. Somebody said that to you, haven't they? Or something similar. Mm-hmm. Because the people who know you have a problem. And if they know you have a problem and they care about you, they should be the ones telling you, you need to do what I said.
Sounds like she needs new friends.
They should be driving you to the meetings. They should be driving you to your treatment. If they care about you, if they truly care about you getting clear of your and being in recovery and being able to be a parent to your child, they would be helping you get to treatment. Think about all those people who are not helping you at this point in your life. Think about all those people you think of as close family members and friends. And when you need them the most, which is right now, they're not the ones driving you to your treatment. They're not the ones saying, hey, have you gone to AA today? Or have you called and found a meeting? Have you gone to a meeting? Hey, we're not going to drink around you because we know that's a trigger for you. All right. What's the recommendation, Ms. Chang?
She might not know that friends like that exist.
Probation
honestly.
recommends that.
You never know.
Are you talking about good friends?
Yeah. Like she's also so young that she might not realize that there are good people out there who, if they are really your friend, they will focus on getting you better. When you're that young, you don't know that that's a thing, really. I think you sometimes get surrounded by all the people that you know, and that's all you know. And if they're bad people who are bad influences, then you don't know that they're actually good people out there saying, hey, you need to not be around there. Can I get you do treatment? Can I help you do this? They're the ones saying, oh, you don't have a problem. Like, let's go party. You might, at that age, you literally don't know that there are people out there who will stand by you through thick and thin. You just think you need to impress people at that age. At least that's my experience.
Yeah, but my son as well, he's 23, so he's constantly looking at girls, and the good girls won't deal with him because he's trouble. And so he gets stuck just with the troubled girls. And, a troubled girl is still a girl to him. But he doesn't, saying he's not finding those good influences. And, in other words, waiting out, telling a 23-year-old guy to wait it out, you'll eventually move up in life to where the good girls will notice you.
Yep.
He's not, in the end, an available girl is better than the right girl for his age
Yeah.
group.
Mm-hmm.
And and he's going to be coming home in about a month or so. So he started talking to a girl that was somewhat local,
Mm-hmm.
and just talking with her online and stuff, he started dealing with the drama there, and they kind of faded away.
Mm-hmm.
And I just told him, I was like, look, and that's even before you met her, so just be prepared for the craziness.
Yeah, I
And
mean, if
so,
you're already getting drama online, real life ain't gonna be any better.
yeah, and I just keep telling him, I couldn't begin to give dating advice. I hadn't dated in 27, 28 years, so. And I just told him, I was like, look, just fight it out, man. Just fight it out. Just deal with it. And, focus on work, focus on the gym, focus on living life. And,
Yeah, my opinion. I think he's too close, too new in his sobriety for a relationship, in my opinion. I don't know him and I don't know his situation, but in general, like, that's usually not something you want to bring into your life until you've got your sobriety on lock, because you don't want anything causing you to spiral when you're that vulnerable. And 8 months is still vulnerable.
yeah, no,
So
absolutely. And that's exactly what he's going for. He's looking for that drama, all over again.
yeah.
And luckily enough, he's smart enough this round to stay focused. But
Mhm.
it's still distracting. It's distracting for any guy. Girls are going to be distracting, but more so for a 23-year-old, more so for a single 23-year-old, more so for a single 23-year-old with an addiction problem.
Right.
And so Stacy come up with some neat information on that lawyer talking about his bar license may not be active, but I'm
Yeah,
fairly
I
certain
saw that.
I'm gonna look it up, see if we can find something on it. Let's go back to this case. I love this probation lady. She's
Me
very
too.
direct but very kind always.
Yep. I like her too.
And I don't know if it helps or hurts, a probation officer being kind, but
Mhm.
I know my son's probation officer is kind of just kind of very direct, very cold. He has no thoughts that she would be willing to help him.
Mhm.
And so let's see how this goes.
Okay.
She received credit for the 13 days she's been in since October the 9th, returned to probation, test at each report, and start substance abuse treatment by November 15th.
Mr. Taylor?
Your Honor, I don't know Ms. Perez very well. However, with speaking with her regarding this probation violation, I do know that transportation has been a concern with her not accommodating, but participating in the various things that she's required to do for probation. I've informed her.
And yet she managed to get alcohol.
That's probably.
Ms. Perez, where do you live? Like, what area do you live in? Okay. So you can't walk to where you need to be? You can't find an AA or NA meeting near where you need to be? Clayton County has buses now, so you could get on a bus to get to where you need to be. The bus will take you to the train. Even if your ASAM class was all the way in Decatur, there's a train that goes right to downtown Decatur, and buses pick up from there. So there's no lack of transportation, ma'am. There's lack of will to do it. Ms. Perez, I am telling you right now that if you keep going along the way you're going with this attitude that you're not going to engage, you're not going to take care of yourself, then you'll be dead in a year. Alcohol kills. You either die in an accident, you die because something happens to you, because you make yourself vulnerable, or you die because you blow out your liver. Alcohol kills. There's people on hard drugs, been doing hard drugs for all of their lives. But you know what takes them out? Alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
Your Honor,
You got to make a decision that you want to be here for your son. I know that you have suffered, but you can't let that defeat you. You're giving up. You are giving up. And you don't have that luxury. You got a child. And it scares me to put you back out here because you're giving me excuses, but you're not doing anything. Had you done any of the things I asked you, any of the things, even the easy things, I'd say, okay, at least she's trying. I know the alcohol. I expected you to test positive because you're an alcoholic. You can't help yourself. But some of the other stuff, I said, let me see if she's willing to put in the work to do some of these other things. You're young. I get up every morning and walk, and I'm not young. My knees are killing me. You probably haven't even located any. You have? So what's keeping you from going consistently? Twice a week.
My transportation.
No. Don't say transportation. Because where there's a will, there's a way. Had a guy who was on probation. His car got stolen. He lost his job. He didn't have a car. He finally got his car back. It was disabled. He was sleeping in his car. And you know what he did? He walked from Stockbridge to Jonesboro and got here for court on time. On time. He was here before a lot of other people. He walked. And when he told me that, you know what I did? I said, you put in the work. So let me see what I can do for you. You put in the work to be here. Let me give you a month off of probation requirements. I'm going to give you a month. And you come back to me in a month and let's see what happens. And in a month, he had moved back in with his mother. He had gotten another job and his car was being repaired because he could now afford to get it repaired. All that he did when he started walking, he walked from Stockbridge to Jonesboro. And so when you tell me that you have transportation issues, I walk every morning. I'm gonna tell you right now. I know a lady right now who's been walking since before the pandemic. She walks every morning. So when you are, and you younger than both of us, when you tell me that you got transportation issues because you're unwilling to walk a couple of miles, that tells me you're not willing to fix it. You're lazy and you're not willing to do it. And you would rather sit there and tell me, I don't have transportation, than tell me, I am doing everything I can, Judge, to make sure that I'm the best mother for my child. Who has your son right now?
My mother.
Let me just tell you something. And I hope this is broadcasting to everybody who needs to hear it. But as grandparents, we don't want your children. We don't. We love them. We want them to stay out of the system. But after we raise y'all, we don't want your children. How old is your child?
11.
I got an 11-year-old. That's homework. That's activities. That's questions, 1,000 questions a day. We don't want your children. We don't.
That's why I love this.
And he knows exactly what's going on.
And yet to pause it for a second, to Victoria's point,
11-year-olds.
Yeah.
Not walking anywhere in Houston this heat. Yeah, in Texas, like I can tell you from my perspective, at least in Austin, everywhere is far in Texas. Like for me to get to the local like road that actually has businesses on it is at least a mile walk just from my house. We have no public transportation. If you need to go anywhere outside of Austin city limits, you can't do it with public transportation. There really isn't. I mean, we have one little tiny half car train that kind of goes to the outskirts, but it runs like every hour until like 6 p.m. and then it shuts down. So if somebody needed to go to court from my house right now, they would have to walk 4 miles to get to the bus stop. And then it would be an hour, at least an hour bus ride to downtown Austin. So it sucks here in Texas. It's not always as easy as walking.
No, and
But
I
I
mean,
don't know why she doesn't have the ability to zoom in.
yeah,
Like, why is that not a thing?
in Georgia, walk, it's a pain in the ass to walk anywhere. Nobody likes to walk, but
Right.
but the online, everyone can do it online. My son hated the thought of AA. He actually went to like one or two, and he didn't really grasp the benefits of it. He just saw it as, hey, now I know where I can get my fix.
Mm-hmm.
And but he was pretty argumentative about it. But I think that's when he was at a stage where he wasn't wanting to change. He wasn't wanting to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
He just felt AA was listening to a bunch of other people talk about, everybody trying to one up each other on their drunk stories.
And that sometimes is what it is. But when the court tells you you got to do it, you got to do it. I mean, or find a different meeting. If you don't like that meeting, go to a different one. There are, like she said, there are thousands of them. Most every church usually has some sort of meeting going at some point throughout the day. But yeah.
So to Gina and Jennifer, I'm going to a town called Cowpens, South Carolina on Tuesday. I'd never thought there was a town with a name called Cowpens.
Cowpens, huh?
Yep, Cowpens.
Cowpens, South Carolina?
Yep. I don't know anything about it other than there's a paper mill there, and I got to go there Tuesday.
If you hear banjos, go in the other direction.
Oh, I love South Carolina. For me, South Carolina is the city.
I've never been there. I haven't been on the East Coast. My dad was born in North Carolina, so he's got some family back there. But yeah, I've never been. I just like to make fun of everybody. I'm good at it.
Every area's got the rough and got the good, and there's different brands of redneck in almost every town.
Mm-hmm.
It's different. Going to West Virginia, seeing some of the rednecks there, it's a different culture than the rednecks down in Florida.
Right.
But in the end, it's all rednecks, and I think it was the hardest thing I had to explain to people in Tennessee. That rednecks and country people, and are different.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was odd. It was odd. So yeah, Gina saying BFE. And someone was saying that Cowpens is famous. I just don't know what it's famous for.
I don't know either.
But anyways, they say the best barbecue in South Carolina. And that's the funniest thing. Like, I love Florida barbecue. Don't like South Carolina, North Carolina barbecue. And I don't know what Texas barbecue is about, but I'm fairly certain I don't like it either.
No, don't even say that. You do not disparage Texas. There are some things you can disparage Texas for. Barbecue is not one of them. I'm Pacific Northwest. I do not consider myself a Texan. I do live here. I've lived here for 8 years. I do love it, but don't mess with my barbecue here in Texas. Like, they got that shit on lock. They know what they're doing. They are masters of it. Yeah, no, you come out here and I will get you loaded up on some barbecue. We'll throw down.
All right, I'm not.
Wait a minute. You don't even like food. You're not the best person to do with food.
And I was about to say, I don't know that I'm great to talk about that, because yesterday we actually took our daughter to Longhorn Steakhouse, which I'm assuming is Texas.
Yeah, they've got them scattered throughout. I don't eat there.
Well, we went there, and me and my wife got cheeseburgers, and the daughter got chicken strips. So
there you go. Yeah.
But we promised her she'd get to go, so she got to go.
Yeah. All right, let's finish this one up.
Yep.
We're the smartest creatures on the planet. So you want your 11-year-old to see you not try.
No, ma'am.
That's what you're doing. Your mother does not want to raise your child. That was not her choice. I'm sure if she wanted an 11-year-old, she could have one. Because if she my age, she have one. I have one. And I'm old. So what I'm telling you is it was possible if she wanted another child. Obviously, she did not. But you gave her one that she didn't ask for. And now, because you're not willing to try and work and do what you need to do, she now has an 11-year-old. She got to go to school events, and she's got to do homework and all of that stuff that you should be doing. Ms. Perez, let me just tell you, I knew this was coming. I knew it would be alcohol, but I thought maybe you would try with some of the other stuff. But let me just tell you, I expect to see you again. This is your first probation revocation hearing after being sentenced. So I expect to see you again. But I'm telling you, if I see a lack of progress again, I got 30 months that I can give you. Whatever is left is going to be on the table for you to stay in jail. We clear? Because I can keep you safe and clean in the jail. Well, not so much safe because the Clayton County Jail ain't what it used to be. It's scary in there now. But I can at least keep you away from alcohol. So you make the decision whether we need to have this talk again. We clear?
Yes, ma'am.
And please don't think about running because we will find you. We clear?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So what's the recommendation? Return to probation, credit for time
Yes.
served, test at each report, and start the substance abuse treatment by November 15th.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's too long. She's got to do it by, what's the day? The 22nd? By November 1st, you need to be in treatment. In fact,
Yes.
you need to sign up by October 30th. You need to sign up for treatment. We're clear? And I'm only giving you that amount of time because you may need to get your money up. But yeah, you need to really sign up for treatment at that point. Okay? Because, ma'am, you are wasting time. You are wasting time. And the time you waste not doing what I asked you to do is time. I'll just take the remainder of the time and just put you in jail if you're not going to do it. You can just stay in jail. Because at least I know the community will be safe. I know that you'll be safe, essentially. We're clear?
Yeah.
Now, Ms. Perez, talk to me and tell me what is going on that you cannot get it together.
Well, recently I was going through an eviction where I was living at, and I actually just moved where I was living at, so I have a new location to give to Ms. Chang. And I lost my job, and it's been very hard on me these past few days, but I was actually just getting a new job. So
What's your new job?
remodeling, house remodeling.
Okay. You do sheetrock and all of that?
Yes, and painting, and I've been doing house cleaning also. So hopefully when I get out, I can still go back to that job and get my stuff.
Okay. And you work with somebody who can kind of help you find jobs and make sure you get to the jobs.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Oh, I hate technology. Everything I just did just went away.
Oh my goodness.
Ms. Perez, this is up to you, okay? I'm gonna make the effort to hope that you'll get it together. But it's up to you essentially whether you're gonna end up getting your life together and making your son proud and making sure that you can be a mom to him like you're supposed to, or you're gonna give up. And I don't want to see you give up for his sake. You hear me?
No.
You're too young to let this take you down. You gotta fight. And like I said, I am clear that there's a reason for this. I'm clear. I'm not discounting any of that. But you got to be bigger than what challenges you. You got to fight back. Okay? All right. All right. So, Miss Chang, do you have a report date for her?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Perez, if you'll report this Thursday, October 24th at 10:30 a.m.
And Miss Perez, when you get out of jail, the first thing you should be looking for is a meeting. You hear me? Okay.
All right. I'm going to ask a very controversial question. Do you think the judge did the right thing?
I don't know that the judge could do anything at this point, honestly. I think she's going to be back, and she's not taking any of this seriously. So, short of throwing her in jail, I don't know what's going to wake her up. I don't think giving her the option to write her own program is a good idea. Like, when does that work ever? It doesn't. So, I don't know. What do you think?
I think the judge did the right thing because, she doesn't want to punish the kid. But
Right.
I think they need to have the resources to babysit them, almost daily. No, in other words, the social workers, there's not enough of them to go around. There's not enough good ones to go around.
Yep.
I don't think warehousing people is the answer to these problems. But
Neither do I.
telling someone, okay, now you can go home, but you have to stop doing all the drugs. You just don't stop doing those. You just don't stop, on a dime like that. And consequences be damned. You were doing it when you were killing yourself. So what is a judge going to say that's going to scare you?
Yep. And Vicky said she gave her the rope, and I think she absolutely did, and she's not going to do well. But I also think the judge is giving her a chance and giving her the benefit of the doubt. I think the judge knows this isn't going to end well, but I think she's trying to give her at least the benefit of the doubt. I think everybody should be afforded the benefit of the doubt once. I mean, she kind of already did that, and then she immediately drank. So I don't know what the point of doing it twice is. And I get that she did it because there's a kid involved, and I absolutely hate when people get treated differently because of kids. But I also understand that we have to treat people differently because of kids. So there's not really a wrong or right answer to go about that either. So I don't know. It sucks. The whole situation sucks. I don't think she took it seriously. I think she'll be back.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
Yes. Stacy's got a good question. How come she didn't get a scram tether?
Yeah. Scram tether, or why doesn't she tell her that she can go to the AA meetings via Zoom? Like, bring that up. Like, you don't have transportation. I get that. There's no reason you can't do Zoom meetings. There's no excuse for that whatsoever. Ever. Like, at all.
Yeah, I have no faith, and I think everybody is right there. That she's not going to stop. I don't think she can stop. I don't think, like you said, she doesn't have the friends that to support her. The way she talked, she didn't talk like she was uneducated. She didn't talk like she was dysfunctional. She talked like she was defeated, and she doesn't really have a lot of hope. Doesn't or it doesn't seem like she's got a lot going for her. But even on my worst days, looking at my kids was enough reason to go to work, enough reason to keep on, enough reason to keep doing anything I needed to do. I don't know the answer to it. Like I said, to me, the only thing that would work is if you told someone, hey, I'm going to put this babysitter on you, the social worker, and if the social worker gives me the signal, you're going to jail.
Right.
But there would have to be as many social workers as there are inmates or defendants, and there'd have to be good social workers that are not burnt out, that are not overworked, that are not just completely tired of the job.
Well, sounds like she needs a sponsor is what she really needs. She needs a good sponsor. And like I said, I don't think she necessarily knows the difference between a bad friend and a good friend, but a sponsor would be probably a night and day difference for her. If she had somebody in her corner, like you're saying, like a babysitter, sitting there saying, listen, this is what you got to do. If she had a sponsor, that's what a sponsor does. A sponsor checks up on you. They make sure that you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing as far as court's concerned.
Now,
they're there as a resource. If you can't get somewhere, they're usually a good resource for that.
So
I think she needs a sponsor, definitely.
Is a sponsor paid?
No.
All right. Is a sponsor, can someone get fired from being a sponsor?
It's a volunteer gig, not really. I'm sure you could be like yelled at by the AA or NA group by saying, hey, you're not doing this correctly and you shouldn't be a sponsor.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's a hard and fast, like you're fired, you can't be it. It's not a certification either that I know of. I could be wrong.
Yeah, but being a grown-up kind of says you shouldn't be yelled at.
Right.
And so for what I'm saying with a sponsor is, like, I know my kid's first sponsor was garbage.
Yeah.
And when my kid would complain about it, it was, hey, you're just not taking it serious.
Well, and sometimes the sponsors, it's a personality thing. Like you're not going to be friends with everybody you meet either. You got to have a good relationship with your sponsor. So if your personalities clash or the way that they do their sponsorship doesn't mix with you, it doesn't mean that you don't need a sponsor. It means you need a different sponsor. You need someone
Right.
who's going to be that best friend.
And I think that was what it was. He was 22, and I think his sponsor was 70,
Mm-hmm.
and there was just really no way to relate to each other.
Yeah.
And like he would text the sponsor, and the sponsor would not respond back, and then a month later would say, "Oh yeah, I don't check texts."
Oh yeah, that's no. That's
But
not okay. It sounds like
but
you got a
whenever my
horrible
son would
sponsor.
complain about it, it was, "Oh well, you just need to take the program serious. You need to pay attention." Now, luckily enough, he moved to another area, and he ended up getting a different sponsor. And that
Mhm.
sponsor's great. He really values that person, and that person is really good for him.
That's awesome.
But it made me wonder, just how do you get past, in other words, how do you get selected to be a sponsor? Do you just volunteer to be a sponsor?
Yeah, it's somebody who's already been through it, and they know this. They're a former addict themselves. They usually have years and years and years of sobriety. Um, Typically, you have to be of the same sex because they don't want people. They don't want the relationship to evolve into something romantic.
Hey,
So it
it's
usually has to be
2024. You need to just, need to take your bigotry and put it on the shelf.
exactly. So, and like David said, it's also up to the addicted too. They got to be open to treatment or at least acknowledge that they need help. If they're not ready, it doesn't matter who the sponsor is, they're not going to get help. So, but yeah, if she had a good sponsor behind her, I really think she could do great things. That's really what she needs. She's too young. It sounds like she's got bad friends. If they could get her into meetings, even just the virtual meetings where she could connect with the sponsor,
Right.
then I really think that would help a lot.
Maybe
Good night, Nan.
Good night, Nan. Maybe it's a good question for David is, how do you push someone like her? We're going to use her as the example because we all just got to watch her life unfold in front of us. How do
Mhm.
you push someone like her who's not ready for treatment and get
There's
her
nothing
to
you
that
can
point
do.
other than jail? I have a big part of me that wants to keep people out of jail. I don't think jail's the answer. I rarely think it's a solution to anything.
It's definitely
But
not the answer for anything drug related because you can get drugs in jail. It doesn't eliminate the problem at all.
right, but also having her go home or having her go to jail and her kid end up in foster care. Even with the best people in foster care, it's still traumatizing to a kid.
Right.
Now, if that kid got to see mom have a friend that helped her, a sponsor that helped her and got to see mom getting better, that kid may
Mhm.
get to see some future, in their eyes.
Yep.
And so,
One of my best friends had her mom was a heroin addict, and that actually drove her to become an addiction specialist because she saw all the shit that her mom went through, and her mom actually ended up intentionally overdosing on a combination of methadone and heroin. Like she committed suicide, and she had to fight and fight and fight the state to prove that it wasn't an accidental overdose, that it was an intentional overdose to get the state benefits she was supposed to get as like whatever survivorship benefits that come with it being ruled as a suicide as opposed to an accident. So it took her a long time to even get it ruled as a suicide. But yeah, she saw it growing up, and luckily she didn't go down the path of addiction. She went down the other path and became an addiction counselor. So
yeah. And Gina's making the comment, it may stunner into reality and the kids stay with grandma. And then
yep,
Rivette says, or Ravit, I don't know how to pronounce that name.
I'd say Rivette, yeah.
All right, some people may just have to hit rock bottom before they actually see the top again. And I hate that because, like I said, I got to see my son hit what I hope is his rock bottom. I really hope he saw the end of it.
And that's the thing, is rock bottom's different for everybody. So what you think your son's rock bottom, he can be like, oh shit, this is just a Tuesday. So
Well,
you never know.
Okay, so this morning we actually handed over keys to a car,
Hmm.
and we wouldn't do that if we weren't certain that he's on the right path.
Hmm.
And it was yesterday morning. I'm sorry, yesterday morning. It's been a busy weekend, and it's been, I think, since he's got the car, he's put on 5 miles, so he's being responsible. He said
Right.
he sat in the parking lot for 30 minutes listening to music, and then saw the the fuel gauge go from 301 to miles to empty to 295, and he said, "Oh, enough of that." And
That's
so
cute.
but I'm just saying he's doing great, but before he went to this rehab, he was truly saying, "I'd rather just do the 4 years in prison, because then I can go back to doing whatever I want, and I don't have to
Right.
talk to a probation officer."
Yeah.
And I remember when he was 18 or 19, his whole goal was to save up enough money to get a bus ticket to Denver or to California so it would be legal.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just, and I was like, "Really, that is your life goals?" And he's
Really?
like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just what I got to do it. I got to." And now, you talk to him about his life goals, and the list is too long. He's talking like a kid. "I'm going to be an astronaut, and then I'm going to be a
Right.
doctor, and then I'm going to save the world."
Right.
And so he's certainly doing a hell of a lot better. And of course, I'm
I
still
bet just seeing that enthusiasm behind him is a good sign for you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I guess I feel bad for this girl, because like, my daughter's 25, so I see a kid with a kid,
Mm-hmm.
and it says her not having custody of her child might save the child's life. Absolutely. And at some point, the judge and us as people have got to say, we're going to fight for that kid. Lady, if you won't fight for you, we're going to start fighting for that kid. And that's where, the one thing you don't ever hear is about, was CPS involved.
Mm-hmm.
To me, anytime that there's a situation like that where, mom's going to jail for that, it seems like there'd be an automatic trigger to CPS to, "Hey, let's go check on that kid."
Yeah, and you see that a lot where the judges are like, "Wait a minute, has CPS?" Especially Judge Boyd. Judge Boyd asks that question all the time: Is CPS involved in your life? And if the answer is no, she usually tells somebody in that courtroom, whoever does that, "Let's have CPS check on those kids, because this sounds like a situation where they
Yeah.
at least need to go in and say, 'Hey, what's up?'"
I
Oh,
think,
Credence and Mikey,
hey,
thank
Credence and
you.
Mikey, thank you. But you also have to admit, Texas has a horrible reputation for CPS, and so does Florida.
Yeah, Florida's awful.
And see, I hear about Texas being so awful. Now, Florida's got a lot of issues. Emily's parents were foster parents, and that was a special thing. We saw them, they did well money wise, and they would take in a bunch of kids, but we saw it was just overwhelming, taking in so many kids. You're constantly in and out of court. You're
Hmm.
constantly, dealing with the craziness of the real parents.
Right.
And so being a foster parent is a hell of a job. And there's good foster parents, and there's garbage foster parents. There's ones in Florida that are doing it just for the money, but that have, could care less about the kids. There's ones that were bad parents, and now they're foster parents. And so,
Have
but
you watched that documentary, Take Care of Maya, about that
no,
poor girl that has CRPS? It's
no,
complex regional pain syndrome. It's in Florida,
yeah,
and she was taken away from her mom, and her mom ended up committing suicide because they thought the mom had Munchausen's by proxy and
yeah.
was
I watched
torturing the
all the
little
court
girl,
for
and she
that.
didn't.
I watched all the
Yeah.
court for that. I don't like documentaries because, it's almost impossible to get a non-biased documentary.
Right. Yeah. I know.
But no, I watched the court on it, and even with the court on it, something I'll bring up now. I was watching court today. I was trying to catch up with a case out of Texas where a guy, I think he's been in prison for like 20 years because a kid with SIDS.
Hmm.
And they're talking about the junk science, and actually had David Grisham, the
Oh yeah. John Grisham, the novelist,
John
he
Grisham.
was there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was
they
actually
said that he did like shaken baby syndrome, and then they found out like that wasn't it. Like the kid died from like pneumonia or something, or
right.
SIDS,
And
or
so they just
yeah.
talked about the garbage science, that gets people. We as a people say, well, you got to trust the jury, but the jury can only make decisions on what they're allowed to hear.
Hmm.
And so,
Yeah.
but yeah, about that little girl
That
down in
documentary
Florida.
was heartbreaking.
Yeah, that little girl down in Florida. She's an adult now, but yeah, it was miserable because listening to the nurse testify, the nurse
Hmm.
truly sounded like she cared about her.
Right.
And then you got to hear the other people talking to the nurse, and you're like, oh wow, this nurse was garbage.
Yeah.
And so, but it just, in the end, this kid, I don't know how in the world she's going to be able to live her life not thinking somewhere along the way she contributed to what happened with her mom.
Yeah.
And
It's heartbreaking.
there's nothing that she did. It was just that. But hey, let's get back to drugs. Let's get back to the fun part.
Ooh, drugs. I'm all about drugs. Let's get back to drugs.
With this lady, with this lady here. So we kind of all agree, looking at it from around, we're saying, hey, she's going to end up hitting rock bottom. She's going to end up in jail for a few months. Kid's going to end up with grandma, and maybe she'll be able to get some clarity while she's there.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Gina, I think the hospitals are going to argue that for years. I know they got
No, they did. They got a big settlement. She got like $800 million settlement from the hospital.
Yeah, but they can appeal it, and I'm just saying they can.
Yeah,
keep
I'm sure.
it.
Yeah, it's gonna be forever before she
And so
sees money. But yeah, they won big.
I sure wish you could appeal. In other words, like they can appeal it. It's like, yeah, but you're still going to throw them a couple $100 million until you appeal the rest.
Yeah,
And so
the whole thing was super tragic and awful.
We got
But
a really
back to drugs.
We got a really good one with Judge Fleischer. I want to throw up real quick, and we'll kind of rush through it, but it's a good story, and we should have had it on Friday. And so
I think this is the happy one. Yeah, please, if you guys can stay just a few more minutes, it's a happy one. I think it's the one that
it's only 13 minutes, and I'll get Alli to stop talking so much.
Yeah, so please stick around because this one's a good one.
David Matthew Freeze.
Come up, Mr. Freeze.
Judge, he turned himself in to Montgomery County because he's on dual probation up there. And he went to Montgomery County, he turned himself in. And while he was in custody there, that's when the motion to adjudicate for here were filed. He did, prior to him going into custody in September 6th, he tested positive for methamphetamine.
Mr. Freeze has been testing positive for methamphetamine, and
he would test negative today if you were to test it.
And I'm sending you now for a drug test. I want to know what, if anything, is in your system. Of you not to use, and I've repeatedly told you not to pick up theft cases, Mr. Freeze, and you're on.
He didn't pick up any theft cases, Judge. What he did is he had a motion to adjudicate in Montgomery County. He knew that. He turned himself in. He called his probation officer, told him he was turning himself in, and he had to do 180 days there. And he's no longer on probation in Montgomery County.
Can you run an NCAC on Mr. Freeze to see what, if anything, is open, please?
Yes, Judge.
This is a really sad case, Mr. Freeze.
Yes, sir. I'm trying to just move on. Like I'm trying to go to trade school, so I'm here just trying to get this over with. To be honest with you, sir.
One reason, and one reason only, for all of the 15 to 20 theft cases you have now, and
drugs.
He's aware.
That.
He's had 11 arrests in total, Judge. The burglary of the building, that's what he had the adjudication on.
Yes.
So it doesn't look like there's anything else, Judge.
So when did he pick up the burglar of a building? While he's on probation here?
No, that was before he was put on probation here.
We put him on probation in 21.
He had the burglary building up there prior to being put on probation here.
From what I could see, he got placed on probation in June 2nd, 2022. He picked up a possession charge on May 15th, 2021, but it wasn't filed until August 8th, 2023. And then he did the 180 days in Montgomery County for that. That's all.
You know, Mr. Freeze, let me enlighten you with something. Do you know who John Belushi is?
Yes, sir, I do.
John Belushi was just one of the just pinnacle actors in the 70s. And that dude was freaking a genius. And one of the biggest things that he had, and one of the biggest problems he had, was the dude partied like a freaking animal. And What he was doing was just
Everything.
the kind of dope that he was doing would kill a small farm animal. You know,
Sure.
you, my friend, are the same way that Belushi was. And it's a matter of time before your body gives out on you and you end up in the same way. He died at what, 33 years old, right? Give or take. How old are you now?
28.
28 years old, and you're not a spring chicken anymore, and you don't look like you're in the best of shape. Your body
I thought
can
it was on.
only put up with so much. And if you continue with the lifestyle that you've led for the past 4 years, your body is going to give out when you're 30 years old.
I can already feel it. Yes, sir.
So you need to make a complete and utter lifestyle change before you die,
Sure.
because you're headed the same way John Belushi is right now.
That's the road I'm trying to go down. I'm trying to change. Yes, sir.
It's mind over matter.
And I will. Yes, sir.
The other problem is that it's very tough to believe you, because when people are using, they are the best actors in the entire world. They'll sell you the sun, the moon, and the stars and tell you that the sky's purple and have you believe in it. So
Agree.
Yep, that's
what
true.
you tell me goes in this ear and goes out that ear, because I have extensive experience with you. So Carl, what we're going to do now is I'm sending in for a drug test.
Good job.
Okay. I want to come back on Monday. I'm not letting you go. Not one iota. And if I have to put you in a treatment facility, I'll do it in a heartbeat to get you to stop. But you are going to stop. And if it means me keeping you on probation for another 3 years, I'm going to do it in a heartbeat.
I understand,
Do
sir.
you understand?
Yes, sir.
So I'm sending in for a drug test now. It's kind of late, so we'll come back on Monday, and then we'll go and see where we head from. Are you working now?
Actually, so I have an offer letter for Monday. My first job is Monday. I could show you, or my first day of work is Monday. I have an offer letter on my phone. I could show you. So,
Doing what?
cleaning pools as a repair technician. So,
Going to work at Pool Tech as a,
and I have official offer letter on my phone that I can provide if you need to see it. But Monday is my first day of work.
next Friday.
Oh, no, we don't do cases on Friday. What days do you have off?
As of right now, I'm not sure, but because like I said, Monday is my first day of work, but I work Monday through Friday. But if I have to take a day off, I'll tell them.
If you're using, it's just not going to go well.
Oh, I have to pass a drug test to get this job. So I'm confident that yes, sir, I understand.
So let's do this. I'm going to set the case for Monday because I want to know what the drug test is going to show.
Okay.
If you're positive, then I'm going to need to talk to you.
Understand.
Okay. If it's negative, I'll give it, sometime in the week that we'll need to talk to him.
Yes, sir.
You need to speak to your employer. to
I'm
see
gonna call him
what
as soon as I get out of
Have
here.
off so that you can come in and speak with us so we can
Anybody's appearance is waived Monday.
figure out pending the drug test. I need to
Negative,
know.
then he doesn't have to be here.
Right, for now, it's waived, depending on what the drug test says. If it's positive, I'm going to need it.
Okay,
Sir,
thank you.
Okay?
Good.
thank you, sir.
So pause a quick second. So you see how he was like super, like almost enthusiastic to say, okay, I can show you this. I can do this. I can do the drug test. Like he was very like, whatever you need, I can do it. Like absolutely that kind of, that's how you can tell that he's actively involved in fighting for his sobriety as opposed to somebody else. Somebody who's actually fighting to be sober and not have any drug problems whatsoever will do absolutely everything in their power to prove to you that they really are on the straight and narrow. You asked me to take a drug test? Absolutely. I'll do it right now, right in front of you. You can be in the room with me. I don't care. Like if you are sober, you want to scream it to the rooftops and you want every opportunity to prove it. Like you almost welcome those challenges because you know you're going to nail them every single time and people expect you to fail. And so you want to prove it. When you see these people who come in and are like, oh, you don't trust me? Why would you ask me to take a drug test? You don't trust me? No, I don't trust you. You're an addict. Like that's how you know. That's a huge difference. And I noticed that with this guy from that moment. The second he was like, anything you need, we can go do it. Absolutely. I know if I fail this drug test, you're gonna get, but Like he had the confidence that he knew he was going to pass. Like, I love this guy.
That's
all I'm
that's good.
saying.
That's good to hear because I hear that stuff with my kid. You know, he's constantly, was almost aggressively wanting to prove, what he's
Yeah.
doing. And whenever I hear that, I see that as deception. I see that as he's trying to, win me over, kind of like a guy telling a
No.
girl, oh no, I'm definitely not cheating on you. I definitely love you only. But like my
Yeah,
son's,
no, if they're looking for actual opportunities to show you, like it's just because they're so enthusiastic that they know they've lived a life for so long where they've had to hide in the shadows and try to watch what they say and circumnavigate these tests and that test and all these pitfalls that could, cause them to be found out. And now they don't have to live that life anymore. And it's a really freeing feeling, and that's where you get the enthusiasm of like, yeah, I'll show you a drug test. I'll do a drug test right now. Sure, I'm clean. It's amazing. I've never had that before. So that's kind of how they look at it. Like seriously,
yeah.
that's how I feel.
Yeah, and
Um,
so that's good. That's actually comforting because me and my wife we want to make sure we're not just being dumb and naive to
or
our,
enablers. It's hard. It's hard to believe somebody who's been lying to you for so long. I get that 100%, and that's why, like, I don't expect my husband, who loves me and who does trust me, I don't expect him to believe a word out of my mouth after the shit that I've put him through. I mean, we've been together for 10 years. 6.5 of those, I was in active addiction that he didn't know about. Everything
yeah.
out of my mouth to him was a lie, except I love you.
Yeah,
Um,
he's definitely a good guy. I don't know him or anything about him, but just the willingness to, because
put up with me.
I love my wife completely, but gosh, damn, you put him through a lot.
Yeah, I know. I put him through absolute hell. He's amazing for being here, but in that same respect, I don't expect him to. I mean, I've been clean for 3.5 years. We got a lot of time and sobriety behind us, so a lot of it's in the past. But even with all of that, I don't expect him to still to trust me about certain things. Like, I wouldn't trust him to trust. I wouldn't expect him to trust me about things like money. Like, where did this money go? Like, I make sure I have everything already ready, all my receipts, everything I have, just in case, because I want to be able to show him, yep, I 100% used this money the way it was supposed to be used. I didn't lie to you and say I paid the power bill and then immediately turned around and bought heroin with it and got high. So I'm always excited to show him and to prove to him over and over that I'm not that person anymore. I think that's really what the enthusiasm comes out. I'm not that person anymore, and I'm super excited about it. So give me any opportunity to show you I'm not that person, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, yeah. My son's still crazy though.
Well, he's your son, so I mean, give him a little leeway on that.
Oh no. Look, everything I can't stand, everything I can't stand about him is everything that reminds me of me.
Yep.
The stuff I like is what he reminds me of his mom, but
of course.
but he's he's got way too much of me, and I keep telling him, I was like, look, there was a reason I never took anything. There was a reason I didn't go down that path because I knew where it would go.
Absolutely.
There's no good way that someone like me on drugs could not be just completely destructive, and there's no way it would just be self-destructive. It'd have to take out everything around.
Right. All right. I just wanted to say that real quick because that was a really good point where he was very enthusiastic. So I wanted to point that out. Go ahead and play.
All right, let's go.
Go.
Mr. Freeze, negative.
Come up, Mr. Freeze. Carl,
Yes,
Mr. Freeze was negative.
I know. He said he would be.
Okay, but a lot of people tell me that. A lot of people tell me I have a bunch of hair on my head. You think I believe it?
Oh, I know.
I believe it. Good job, Mr. Freeze. I'm
Thank
proud
you.
of
I've been working hard, man.
That's
to be
great.
honest. So.
Really, I mean, I'm really proud of you. That's all you got.
Hard.
It is. I know it's hard. You take it one day at a time, and when you get the urge, do you have a sponsor?
Yes, sir.
Great. That's fantastic. Reach out to your sponsor. If you ever have a craving and you can't get a hold of your sponsor, reach out to me. I'll talk to you. I'll give you my phone number, not my personal phone, but I'll give you the court number. And if you're here, I'll talk to you.
Yes, sir.
Hold on a second. Is it 3214 for here?
It's 8675309.
Shish.
It's 3,200, Judge.
No, it's not. 3200 is like the general number. You get not, isn't that? You don't get anything. at
That's our
3200.
main number.
It's 8340.
No.
If you ever have the itch, call me.
Yes, sir.
I'll talk to you if you can't get a hold of your sponsor, you know,
Sure.
but you take it one day at a time because it's gonna happen. You're gonna get the itch.
Yeah, for sure. I do. So, yes, sir.
We all do. We all get, you know, have something that happens in our life that wants to take us over the edge. But the idea is you don't let it take over, because how many times have you been in and out of jail?
A lot. And for a while, it did take over there for a minute. So like I worked really hard to like, and not be doing drugs. So it's a huge accomplishment for me. Cause like, I don't know, I'll just be open. I was injecting drugs. Like it's hard to get off that. When they say like, it only takes one time, they're not joking. It only takes one time. So I don't know. It's a pretty big accomplishment for me. That's why I'm emotional. So sorry.
Out of you.
Yeah.
Really, that's a great job. I know how hard it is, especially, you know, I don't want to get too deep into the conversation. I know.
Yes, sir.
And I'm proud of you, and you're doing a good job, and just keep it up. And the next time you ever, just call me.
Yes, sir.
I'm happy to talk to you anytime, you know?
Yes, sir.
What's in the front?
This is the phone number. Okay, if you can mind giving that to him. Carl, so for now, we've got him set. I'm not going to set you off for Monday. There's no need to, right?
Yes, sir.
So, but, so I don't even, so he's on probation, right?
Yes, sir.
Where are we doing? What are we doing with the probation?
It looks like he was enrolled in SATF. He was supposed to do aftercare, but because he went to the other county.
Okay, can we start aftercare now?
He has to be like reinstated and all of that stuff.
I'll do it
But
now.
I can go.
I'll reinstate him right now.
Because they need to be here to.
Oh, damn it.
And all of that
Does
stuff.
that mean I have to go back to
But I
Limac?
can give
No.
him-
Okay, good.
No.
Okay, okay.
I'll give
Doing
him-
this on the outside, so
Gotcha,
you
yes,
can
sir.
remain, live your life, just stay clean.
Yes, sir.
If you can stay clean, we'll keep you in aftercare. It's on the outside, right? Yeah.
Okay, yes, sir.
Okay, so let's do this.
I'll give him the referrals to the IOP and all that stuff so he can get started and then.
Vic, let's put it on for Monday. Carl, I let go all the prosecutors, so we don't have anyone here now to be able to get everything done. I'll put it on for Monday. I'll waive his appearance. I'm gonna reinstate him for his probation. We'll get him
Okay.
started in the aftercare. That way he can just continue doing what he's doing.
Right. Okay, we'll just, he doesn't have to be there Monday. We'll
No,
just,
I'll
do the
waive it.
reinstatement.
For him
Okay.
to sign all the
Cool.
conditions
Hold on.
and stuff, he may need to be here, unless I sign it.
Can
now,
we
we'll
do-
Process it later, I don't know.
Do it, can we do it now and just have him sign now?
That's okay with you? Yep.
And then I'll sign it.
He may be sober, but his damn fidgeting's driving me crazy.
It's nerve wracking being up there, yo. I
Yeah.
don't blame him. Like, you seriously, when you're standing there, you don't know what to do. So all you know how to do is fidget. Like, I had no idea what to do with my hands. I was moving them all. I kept tugging at my shirt. Yeah, it's very intimidating up there. I'm
Well,
telling you.
and that, can you see the camera when you're standing there? Can you see the camera?
Not really. I mean, it's a little tiny black box like on the top of his desk, so you don't really notice it. No,
Okay. And is there anything that says, "Hey, you're on camera"?
no, not to my knowledge. Not that I saw. There's
Okay.
a lot of like, don't use your phone. There's a lot of signs about not using your phone.
Yeah. So last week they had on the screen that's actually behind your picture of your dog on the screen right now.
Right.
On that
Right.
TV screen, they actually had the YouTube feed up on that screen.
Yeah, I saw that the other day, and everybody was like, "Oh, when did they get the TV?" It was like, I'm pretty sure the TV's always been there. It's just usually not on, so you don't notice it.
Yeah. It's normally black, and I'll tell you a little secret. Sometimes, whenever they had a trial, not this last trial, but the trial before that,
Mhm.
I actually put the American Courts logo on the TV screen whenever it was just black,
Nice.
and so just threw it in there. And so, but
Love it.
yeah. And see, I was wondering if he was maybe shaking and nervous because he knew he was on YouTube.
No, I don't think. I think it was just like he doesn't know what the judge is trying to do. I think he got confused a little bit. Like he was like, "Wait a minute, do I have to go to when he was talking about aftercare?" I think that scared him, and he thought that meant that he had to go in for a certain amount of time for aftercare. He didn't realize it was outpatient, and I think that scared him a little bit. And he didn't realize that what judge is trying to talk about is an outpatient program that's the tail end of your probation, so he can get it released early because he's worked so hard. That's what he's trying to accomplish. So.
Yeah,
I think he got scared for a bit, not knowing what the hell judge was talking about.
well, absolutely, and also every other time he's been in front of judges, it's not been a good thing.
Exactly. So
this is the one moment where he gets to shine.
Right.
So,
and he
all right,
doesn't
it's got
understand the judge is trying to help him. So yeah.
All right, Alli, talking too much. It's got 1 minute 43 seconds. Let's go.
Now, and we'll wait for the state to sign it Monday. Is that okay?
The state only needs father. All they need to do is father Alli.
Right. Yeah.
They don't need the state signature on anything
What,
else.
does he have other classes that he has to do still? Like, I'm sure.
But I think it was just IOP and SOP.
No anti-theft?
There was one, to be honest with you.
Do you have any felony convictions now?
Just one.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You got to understand that now you pick up another felony, you could be looking at it. I mean, with all the theft convictions, you could be looking at 2 to 10 in the penitentiary.
Yes, sir. So that's the reason that's the reason I'm showing up today is because like the person said, I'm trying to go to electrical school. My dad's a master electrician. So, and I can't get my ID I don't have my ID. And of course I had a warrant. So I came here trying to take care of everything so I can move forward.
I'm here to help.
Yes, sir.
I'll help you as much as I can. All you got to do is stay clean for me.
Yes, sir.
Don't pick up any new theft case.
Yes, sir.
As long as you do that, your money.
I can do that.
He has to do effective decision making, anti-theft, and then SOPs.
How much time does he have left before he expires?
Oh, wait. June 2nd, 2025.
So we got time. Okay. All right. So we'll have you sign the amended conditions now.
Yes, sir.
We got to wait for the state to do their part. And then after that, we'll just keep you on and just
Yes,
make
sir.
us proud. That's
Sounds
all we're
good.
asking.
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Reese.
Yes, sir.
Now we're really done.
Thank you for the card.
All right. Yeah, I did, Victoria. I didn't recognize who the person was. But yeah, there was somebody that came down to talk, and it seemed like they stayed in the back. I don't have it on this because this show is more focused. But yeah, Victoria, I did see the person that came in at the end. People went.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Yeah,
Who came in?
There was somebody at the back, and had mentioned that that judges on YouTube and they see the judge on stuff.
Mm.
And so it's always awkward. It's always awkward when someone brings up, the judges being on YouTube or TikTok, whether it's Judge Simpson, Judge Boyd, Judge Fleischer, or anyone. It's almost
Right.
shut your mouth, don't tell on them.
Yeah.
And that's where that line of entertainment and education kind of cross.
Right.
And so, but anyways, this was a good case. This one, see, this is the stuff that makes it worth it because, this guy was proud of himself.
Yeah, he it sounds like he's gonna be an electrician. He's going in with his dad, so he's got that career track going. Like if he could stay on that, I can almost guarantee you his theft cases were drug related. And so if you don't have a drug problem, you don't have a theft problem. At least that's my experience.
Yeah, and from what I've seen with the state attorneys and all that stuff, they normally make a deal where once all that stuff's handled, like you got to pay it back. But they almost
Right.
make a deal. They almost make a deal, basically saying, "Hey, look, you pay it back and you be good. It's over with."
Yeah. Yeah, and it sounds like that's what he's doing too. He wants to get him, because he's done such hard work and doing so good, judge wants to get him termed early if possible. So it sounds like he's finally got his life together, and he seems very happy about it. I didn't get he was negative. He seemed like he was clear headed. He seemed enthusiastic and excited about his future. When you're an addict, you don't have that. You just don't.
All right, everybody, we're going to call it a night. We're going to do a show tomorrow night. I don't know about Tuesday yet, but we're going to try.
No, Not to. I won't be here Tuesday, so Tuesday there won't be any show from me because I
Okay.
have my Italian wine dinner. I go to the last Tuesday of the month, and that
Okay.
takes priority.
So a couple of nights ago, she went out drinking. Now, in a couple more nights, she'll go out drinking. And so,
I didn't even drink on my birthday. I didn't. I will
So-
drink on Tuesday, but I don't. Yeah, I didn't drink on my birthday.
so in the end, we can take off the court addict part and just put addicts with ATX Alli.
Yeah. Hey, David said that it was Alli Addicts. I like that. That sounds great to
Oh,
me.
it was no. It was funny what I did the other day. Whenever I put in the title, I put
Mhm.
court addict with ATX addict.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Somebody commented on that. I thought that was funny, and then I
Yep.
saw you fix it. I was like,
Yep.
oh, that's funny.
Yeah, you know
Thank you
what it comes
guys
down.
for coming out.
Yeah, what it comes down to is I find out if I'm sleepy, I'll write anything. Or the
Mhm.
earlier one with Judge Simpson, whenever the guy was requesting the information, he said he did a FOIA. I kept trying to
Mhm.
write. He was going to subpoena the information, but I literally couldn't figure out how to write subpoena, so I just left it alone.
That's so funny.
So thank you all so much. We'll see y'all tomorrow night.
All right, and night,
All right.
guys.